We'll be live in just one moment. While we wait, here's some tips for a successful viewing experience. Make sure you're in a comfy spot. Turn your volume up. Get a sneak peek at what's coming next by clicking the red live icon on the right side of your screen. Turn on subtitles by using the language picker located above the video player. Don't worry if you miss something. The recording will be available on our event page starting tomorrow. And don't forget to join the conversation on social media. Follow us at Google for EDU and use our hashtag, #TheAnywhereSchool. Let's get going.
Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Anywhere School 2021. We're so grateful you're here. I'm Jenny, and I'm the Global Head of Education Impact at Google. Prior to joining the team here, I spent over a decade in schools here in Chicago teaching 4th grade math and science, serving as an instructional coach and building leader, and then as a district-level administrator. So today feels like a homecoming for me, spending time in this virtual teacher's lounge with other career educators like you. And fun fact, today is my birthday. I can't imagine a better gift than being here with you today. For me, a birthday represents a moment to reflect back and look forward. And we can all do plenty of both right now. As a former teacher and district leader, I know personally how hard your jobs were. But I cannot imagine how much more challenging they've become over this past year. School has become more than one singular place, and the world finally realized what we already knew. Nothing can replace the power of a good teacher. The upcoming school year represents a chance to rebuild and rethink. But there are still many uncertainties and plenty of unknowns. More than anything, we want you to know that you're not alone. In the last year, we've launched more than 45 features in response to daunting new challenges brought about by the pandemic and a shift to entirely new ways of teaching and learning. We believe that being helpful starts by first listening to what you need and then building it. And we're not going anywhere. Our goal is to find ways for our technology to continue being helpful, no matter what this new school year might bring. So today you'll hear from many of my teammates about the 45 new tools and features across our education products, including Classroom, Meet, Google Workspace for Education, and Chrome. These are all focused around a few core principles. First, collaboration. Virtually or in person, our tools are all about connecting you in meaningful ways. And now we're adding even more ways to work and learn together. Easy to use. Your time is a precious commodity, now more than ever. And so we're announcing new features that make our products even easier to use, giving you time back to focus on what matters to you and less on what doesn't. Engaging and inclusive. Whether you're back to in-person learning, still fully remote, or a hybrid of the two, we know the future will look a little different for everyone. We're introducing features to help ensure our products work for each of your learners, wherever they might be. Safe and secure. Underpinning everything we do, we know that a safe digital environment is critical and that you've placed your trust in us to protect your privacy and the privacy of your students. That's why we're adding new proactive security features and compliance updates, as well as giving you more control to keep your data private and secure. But the technology itself is not what's exciting. For us, it's all about what you can do with it. So today, you'll also have the chance to hear from 4 very different school leaders as they share their approaches to digital transformation, the highs and the lows, and the impact it's had on their students and communities. And with that, I want to thank you again for being here and for all you do to support your students and communities. Throughout the event, we'll be posting polls on our Twitter page. To join the conversation, head there now and let us know where you're tuning in from. And now for today's agenda. We'll start with what many of you have been waiting for, new feature announcements. You'll then hear more about how Google for Education helps you provide your school community with safe digital learning environments. And we'll finish up with a global customer panel. First up is Danita Morgan, who will share more about the updates coming to Google Classroom.
Thanks, Jenny, and happy birthday. Hi, everyone. My name is Danita, and I'm a program manager for Classroom. Today, I'm going to share new Classroom updates and do a few demos on some of the features we told you about in February. But first, I wanted to salute all the teachers, education leaders, and families. I am a career educator and taught all throughout New York as well as in India before joining Google. In fact, I'm actually a Google certified innovator. You are all superheroes for keeping learning going this year. With that in mind, our team is more motivated than ever to make Classroom better each day. Over the last year, we've seen Classroom become a center for teaching and learning as we've expanded our capabilities. We're proud that many schools now use Classroom as their LMS. Teachers, you've supported Classroom from its start 7 years ago, which was built from the ground up to solve your real problems. And your consistent feedback has helped us stay in lockstep with your evolving needs. Education leaders, you have placed your trust in us by selecting Classroom for your school system, whether that's a district, state, or even an entire country. We know how complex your jobs are, and we take our responsibility to serve your needs extremely seriously. So one of our biggest priorities this year and beyond is to give education leaders greater visibility and control of Classroom so you can support instruction at any size school system. Change, as this past year has proven, is inevitable in education. So as the needs of your institutions continue to evolve, Classroom will also evolve to keep pace. With that, let's dive right in with updates on one of Classroom's top requested features, roster import. Starting this summer, U.S. districts with Google Workspace for Education Plus will be able to automatically set up classes and keep their rosters in sync with their student information system, powered by Clever. IT admins will create classes via Clever, meaning teachers will no longer need to manually create classes and invite students to join them, saving teachers loads of valuable prep time. And don't worry, this will not overwrite classes that teachers create individually. Let me show you what it looks like. First, schools will enable Clever rostering in the admin console. They should also enable the Classroom rostering app in Clever. Next, admins will follow a few easy steps to connect Classroom and Clever. We understand the importance of flexibility here, and as an admin, you can connect your individual school, entire district, or specific teachers. You have complete control. After following the setup guide and granting permissions, syncing commences. Once the sync is complete, Clever will email the admins with the report of what took place. And on the teacher side, they simply log into Classroom and see that all their classes have been created and automatically populated with the right students. They then accept the class and the courses are launched. Voila! We hope this new feature makes heading back to school a lot easier for both teachers and admins. We also have exciting updates to share about Classroom add-ons. This will be coming to beta later this year for districts with the Teaching and Learning Upgrade or Education Plus. With Classroom add-ons, we're partnering with the best ed tech tools so you can seamlessly bring your favorite content right inside Classroom. We're starting with 9 partners, including Adobe Spark for Education, Book Widgets, CK12 Foundation, Edpuzzle, IXL, Kahoot, Nearpod, Newsela, and Safari Montage, with plans to expand to many more. Let me show you how add-ons work with an example. Take Book Widget. First, as a teacher, you go to create an assignment like you're used to, filling out the typical instructions and adding some attachments. But this is where add-ons comes in. You select Add-ons button and open Book Widget. Find an assignment and assign to your class. On the student side, they see the assignment in the stream and click to view the instructions. Then they open the Book Widget attachment and the assignment opens up where they can do their work. Notice, they never have to leave Classroom or don't have to do a separate sign-in. Once they finish their work, they simply click Turn In. On the teacher side, they're now ready to grade. They click on a student name and can see the student's work in line with Classroom's grader view. They can add a comment and then return at the top. This will automatically pass the grade back to Classroom's gradebook. This is just the beginning of our investments in making Classroom your center for learning, the hub where everything comes together. We have a lot more in the works that you'll hear about in coming months. And we have a new announcement that is Classroom's #1 most requested feature, scheduling assignments across multiple classes. Coming later this year, this feature will help teachers and co-teachers easily schedule assignments to multiple classes at once. They can configure due date, publish date, and topic when creating the scheduled assignments. Now, you can distribute that same Macbeth assignment to all of your English sections with the click of a button. In addition to being easy to use, we're also dedicated to ensuring Classroom is inclusive for everyone. One of the best ways we can do that is by supporting students who don't always have consistent internet access, a common problem across almost every school, city, and country. To help with this, we're launching offline capabilities in the Classroom Android mobile app in the coming months. With offline mode, there's a whole new world of possibilities where learning can keep going regardless of connectivity. Students will be able to start their work offline, review their assignments and attachments, and write assignments in Google Docs, all without an internet connection. And then they'll be able to submit their assignments once they're back online. But sometimes it's not enough to ensure students can get online, is it? Sometimes you need help figuring out if students are engaged with class. So in the next few months, we're releasing student engagement tracking. When student engagement tracking launches in the fall, teachers will easily be able to see when a student was last active, including when they last submitted their work or participated in the class through comments. This is designed to make it easier for teachers to get a pulse on how the entire class is doing or identify students who might need a little extra support. Turning back to Twitter, we'd love to hear from you. What do you hope to learn about your students from activity tracking? And finally, in the coming months, we're making some powerful updates to how teachers can use Google Meet in Classroom, making it easier, safer, and more secure. Let me show you how some of the best perks with the new feature will work. First, let's create a Meet link for our Classroom course with this button on the left. Teachers can make this visible or not visible to their students at any time. Previously, teachers had to go into class settings to manage the Meet link, but now it's right on the stream. Now, as a student, I'm unable to join the Classroom Meet link unless the host or teacher is present. This means students can't be in a meeting unsupervised. Once you join from the teacher's side, students can join automatically. If the teacher joins first before students, students can then join without needing to knock or sit in the waiting room. But what about if someone isn't a teacher or a student? Maybe like a guest speaker joining for the day. If they have the Meet link, they'll be forced to ask to join. So no unwanted participants can get into the class. This will also block any unwanted guests from joining a meeting. When this launches, all co-teachers in a class will also automatically be co-hosts in the meeting. And only students listed in the classroom roster will be able to join the Meet. We're really excited about these adjustments to make using Meet in classroom more secure and seamless. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for Meet announcements. But before going to Meet, let's hear from John and Jose David, teachers from Nigeria and Spain, to share about how they are using the latest features in Classroom to inspire learning in their classrooms.
Thanks, Danita. Hello, everyone. I'm John Okewale, a 10th grade teacher, system analyst, instructional designer, and Nigeria's first Google certified innovator. Hi, Jose David.
Hi, John. I'm Jose David, a 6th grade teacher from Spain, a Google certified innovator, and host a podcast, a blog, and a YouTube channel about using Google tools in your classroom. So, John, what do you think of the update?
Jose, the update list is impressive. The new roster import functionality tops the pack for me. Teachers like me can now reduce the time it takes to set up classes, and that will aid back to school preparation tremendously. What are you most excited about?
I'm excited about the classroom add-ons. I love using other edtech tools like Puzzle or Kahoot, and being able to integrate them directly into classroom assignments will be amazing.
Yes, Jose. The new add-ons are super cool. One of the updates I'm thrilled about is the ability to schedule multiple assignments. You know what? Assigning the same work across different sections will be snappy.
That will be awesome. And I'm excited about the Meet and Classroom integration. I get lots of questions about this on my YouTube channel, and I think this new feature will make things easier.
And talking of the ability to complete homework, my students will be super excited about the new offline mode in Classroom. They and fellow teachers can continue with work at home, even with poor internet connection and data restrictions.
I love it. Lots of new improvements, new features. I'm looking forward to using with my students.
And a little birdie told me this is just the beginning in Classroom, with lots more running on the horizon. Are you interested to hear more?
Oh, really? So we'll have to talk about that one off camera. Thanks, everyone, and back to Danita.
Thanks, John and Jose David. Love hearing your perspectives. For more tips from amazing educators around the world on how to use Classroom, please check out this link. Let me pass it off to Thomas Dixon, who can tell you all about the new Meet updates.
Hi, I'm Thomas Dixon, or TD, Program Manager working with the Google Meet team. A little over 1 year ago, video conferencing became an essential tool for teaching, learning, and staying connected. We've been inspired how Meet has enabled educators like you and students to connect anytime, anywhere, and we're working hard to make sure Meet continues to serve the evolving needs of your school communities. Let me first provide an update on how we're making Meet even easier to use. In order to make it easier for you to engage with your students while presenting, we've recently rolled out a new, refreshed Meet experience that allows you to see your presentation content and your students at the same time. You can easily unpin your presentation to see more of your students on the call, and names are always visible, so you can quickly see who's who. We also recently announced that Meet will soon start supporting multiple hosts, making it easier for you to partner with other people helping to manage a class. You'll be able to choose hosts in meetings, and all meeting hosts will have access to safety controls by default. This feature will be rolling out in the coming months, and we've put together a demo to show you how it will work. Imagine I'm a teacher who wants to make a visiting teacher a co-host as well so they can lead today's class. First, I open up the people panel to see everyone in the meeting. I select my co-teacher, Alexis, and choose Add as co-host. Now, from Alexis's perspective, I am now co-host and can access all of the same safety controls as the original meeting host. And as Danita mentioned earlier, once the classroom integration launches, all co-teachers on the classroom roster will be co-host automatically. We're also making a number of improvements which will make Meet even more engaging and inclusive for all types of learners. In the coming weeks, we're improving hand raising so students can participate with even more confidence, and teachers can easily see and hear who raised their hand with an improved hand raise icon and sound. People who raise their hands will show up in the grid, and there will be a persistent notification so you can easily see how many people have raised their hands and in what order. Finally, when a student with a raised hand is done talking, we'll automatically lower their hand. To make Meet more accessible, in the coming months, you and your students will be able to pin multiple tiles to customize what you want to focus on. Students, for example, can easily pin a sign language interpreter in addition to the teacher, so they can see both at the same time. Earlier this year, we announced that Meet would soon support closed captions in 5 languages to help people follow along and stay engaged. In the past few weeks, we've launched those to people everywhere. For educators with the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, or Education Plus, we're introducing features to help you take engagement and inclusivity to the next level. For those of you who teach multilingual classrooms, you'll be happy to hear that later this year, Meet will offer live translated captions. This will be especially helpful to facilitate meetings between educators and parents or guardians, or students who might speak different languages. Let's check out a demo to see how this will work. In this example, the person speaking is talking in English, but I want to see what they're saying in Spanish. First, I navigate to the bottom bar and turn on captions. Next, I turn on Translate Captions and leave Spanish selected. Now, as they talk in English, I will start to see real-time captions in Spanish. In the coming months, you'll also be able to use closed captions during live streams. Also coming later this year, you'll be able to host public live streams that anyone outside of your school domain can attend, making it easier to host school board meetings, school events, and more. In addition to making Meet more engaging and inclusive, we've also made sure it's secure by design, with powerful safety controls for both teachers and administrators. The improved integration with Classroom that Danita showed earlier will make meetings initiated from Classroom safer by default. We've extended additional meeting safety controls for hosts using tablets and mobile phones, like the ability to end meetings for everyone on the call and mute everyone at once. These are live now on iOS and coming to Android in a few months. If you need to quickly prevent distractions, in the coming months, you'll be able to turn off everyone's video at once using Video Lock. For customers with Education Plus or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, we're also making breakout rooms safer and more secure. In the coming months, all breakout room safety settings will match the safety settings from the main meeting room. So for example, if you've disabled chat in the main room, when you move into breakout rooms, chat will automatically be disabled there as well. And when you end breakout rooms, participants will be forced back into the main meeting room, meaning no more students lingering behind. Those of you who are administrators or work with administrators in your organization will be happy to hear that starting this month, you can control which meetings users in your domain can join and who can join meetings created by users in your domain with new admin settings in the admin console. This can help you create the right boundaries for different age students, facilitate bringing in external speakers, and more. In the coming months, you'll be able to control quick access and chat locks at the group or OU level in the admin console as well. Earlier this year, we announced that admins with Education Standard and Education Plus would be able to end any meeting in their organization directly from the investigation tool. This feature is rolling out in the coming weeks, and we have a demo to show you about how it works. In the admin console, you'll first navigate to the investigation tool. Next, you'll select the Meet log events and click Search to bring up all the meetings in your domain. You can then check the boxes next to any meeting you want to end, and then using the Actions button, select End Meetings for All. The green checks on the side confirm that these meetings have now been ended. Once ended, any people who were in those meetings will be removed, and quick access will automatically be turned off, so they can't rejoin the meeting without the host being present from that point forward. Over the past year, Meet has truly transformed into a video conferencing tool built for teaching and learning. Meet will continue to adapt to the needs of school communities as they evolve, whether learning is taking place in person, remotely, or in a hybrid setting. For those following along on Twitter, tell us what Meet feature you're most excited about. Now I'm going to pass it off to a few educators from our community to talk about how they might use some of these new features in their classroom and share a bit more about how they've been using Meet in their schools beyond distance learning.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan and I'm here with my friend Nate, and we are both Google certified trainers from the opposite sides of the world. I'm a full-time technology coach in the Pennsbury School District in Bucks County, Pennsylvania in the United States.
And I'm a teacher at Nagoya International School in central Japan. Megan, I don't know about you. I'm really excited about the updates coming to Meet. In particular, I'm looking forward to the multiple moderators feature. We often have online guest speakers, so having multiple teachers able to moderate, it's going to help planning and execution go much more smoothly.
I completely agree, Nate, especially for our situations where we have multiple adults in the classroom, including co-teachers or support staff. I'm also very excited for the new Meet user interface that makes it easier for teachers to share their screen because they can see what they're sharing, and they can unpin that presentation screen so they can see more of their students on the screen at once. And while I know all of these new features are really exciting, the reality is Google Meet has changed the way we've run our school throughout this entire school year, not just for distance learning, but beyond distance learning. What are some of the ways you all have used Google Meet beyond distance learning, Nate?
Well, you and I met on Google Meet, along with many other professionals around the world. But something our school is doing is reaching out to communities beyond our own. In Japan, the Ainu are a marginalized community. So we had an Ainu guest speaker talk to our students, tell their story, inspire our students to be better people and learn about equity and inclusion. It was very cool. We've done professional development for social studies teachers across Japan and just teachers across the planet. We've also had a career day where students could meet professionals in their fields and inspire them to think about, what do I want to be in the future? It was very cool. So what else have you been doing?
Those are really cool ideas. We've also used Google Meet for professional development because it's made it so much easier for our teachers to access the PD from the comfort of their own homes, as well as to access the recordings. We've also used Google Meet for all of our parent interactions throughout the school year. Parents no longer have to factor in travel time to and from the school to schedule a meeting with their child's teacher. And most importantly, it's helped us engage our students, as our students have been able to use Google Meet to access one-to-one office hours with their teachers in ways that they would not have been able to before. So clearly, Google Meet has been a lifeline for us throughout distance learning, but we're optimistic about the ways that Google Meet can continue to impact us positively in the future. How about you?
Yeah, Meet's going to be even better in the future. Looking forward to it.
Thanks so much for sharing, Megan and Nate. It's amazing to see how you've been using Meet. Now I'm going to hand it off to my friend Mike Patterson to talk about some exciting updates coming to Google Workspace for Education.
Hi, my name is Mike Patterson, and I'm a proud former classroom teacher and administrator and member of the Google for Education team. Previously known as G Suite for Education, Google Workspace for Education empowers your school community with simple and flexible tools to better collaborate, manage classes, and create safe learning environments. Today, I'm going to share the latest updates that deliver the next evolution of collaboration in our products. So whether you're a student working with your classmates on a project or an educator communicating with your colleagues, we're making it easier for you to connect, collaborate, and effectively get things done. Last month, we announced Smart Canvas, a new experience that enhances collaboration in the apps that you use every day, like Docs, Sheets, and Slides, by making them even more interactive and intelligent. One new feature of this experience is Smart Chips, which allow you to pull in helpful information from other Google Workspace products while working in a document. For example, if you're a student working on a group project, you can quickly embed files from Drive or tag other students in your group right into your document by typing the @ sign. Once people are tagged, just hover over their name to quickly chat, email, or set up a meeting. We also recently added interactive checklists to Docs to help you stay on track with whatever you're working on. Checklists are similar to bulleted lists, except you can mark items once they are complete. So satisfying to click that little box. In the coming months, we're introducing table templates in Docs. One of my favorites is topic voting templates, which lets you easily gather feedback directly in Docs. You could use this by having your class vote on topic or project ideas, keeping them engaged and involved in their learning. Imagine using this to ask the time-honored question of, what are we doing this summer? Last year, we introduced grammar suggestions in Docs to help provide tips and catch tricky grammatical errors. For Education Plus customers, later this year, we're rolling out the next phase of writing tips in Docs and adding assisted sheet analysis in Sheets. In Docs, this will include warnings about offensive words and language, as well as other stylistic suggestions. Admins can easily turn this off if they prefer not to have it on in their domain. In Sheets, assisted analysis will provide formula suggestions that make it easier for everyone, not just data analysts, to derive insights from data. These suggestions can help guide students and reinforce concepts to make their writing and analysis skills more impactful. We're also making our products work together more seamlessly, so teachers can focus on what they do best. You can now easily present your content to Google Meet directly from Docs, Sheets, and Slides with the click of a button. This allows you to quickly present and see participants and content at the same time back in the Meet tab. Later this year, we'll be taking this a step further, and customers with Education Plus will be able to embed their live Meet video calls in their Docs, Sheets, and Slides. This will make it even easier to see each other while collaborating together. Altogether, these improvements are going to change the way we work, making it easier to collaborate with anyone from anywhere. By using these tools at school and at home, your students will build important collaboration skills to be better prepared for the workplace of the future. We know how much is on educators' plates right now, so we're making our tools even easier to use so you can get valuable time back to focus on your students. In Forms, we're simplifying settings in the coming months so it'll be easier and faster for you to set up your forms the way that you want. For example, you'll see a new Settings tab at the top of your forms with key settings made more discoverable, like the option to make a form a quiz, and control default settings that get applied to all your forms and quizzes. And to make your forms more fun and personalized, we're launching more than 20 new fonts for you to choose from. Earlier this year, we also announced Forms would soon start automatically saving your draft responses for 30 days or until your submission was complete. Thanks to all your great feedback during the beta, this feature is starting to roll out next month and will be available to everyone this summer. All of these collaborative tools and features that are easy to use are wonderful, but providing your school community with a safe digital learning environment is a commitment and responsibility we take very seriously, so everyone can teach and learn knowing we're helping their data stay private and secure. Later today, my colleague Jen will be doing a deep dive on our approach to privacy and security. Additionally, today, we're announcing how we're strengthening the security of all Google Workspace for Education customers with Drive security improvements, and adding additional advanced security for Education Plus and Education Standard customers. Drive already has built-in protections to help block phishing and malware content shared from external organizations. Now we're adding enhanced protections to Drive that allow admins to enable this kind of protection within their organization's internal Drive to further defend against insider threats and accidental sharing of malware. Additionally, new Drive Trust rules will give Education Standard and Education Plus admins more advanced controls around how files can be shared within and outside of their organization. For example, if an admin wants to allow a subset of faculty to be able to share documents with anyone in their district, but only allow students to share files with people in their specific school. Drive Trust rules are rolling out in beta in the coming months and will be widely available later this year. Education Standard and Education Plus admins will also soon have added controls to classify files stored in Drive based on the content's sensitivity levels and enforce strong data loss prevention rules according to that classification with Drive labels. You'll even be able to set up data loss prevention rules to have Drive automatically classify files for them. This can help you be more proactive about protecting some of your community's most sensitive data, like personally identifiable information or proprietary research. Okay, that was a lot of great stuff that I wish I would have had when I was using Google Tools with my students. For those following along on Twitter, we'd love to know what you're most excited about. Now I'm going to pass it off to Lucy and Peter, educators from the United States and Brazil, to talk about how they might use some of these new features in their classroom.
Thanks, Mike. And hello, everyone. My name is Lucy, and I'm a middle school teacher in Burbank, California, in the United States.
And my name is Peter. I'm a technology teacher at the Pan American School of Bahia here in Brazil. Honored to be here today.
Me too, Peter. It seems like we both work in a multicultural, multilingual environment. That's pretty cool.
Awesome, Lucy. That's great. Then tell me one thing. What were you most excited about the new updates?
There are a lot of things I'm really excited about, but one thing I'm a big fan of is forms. And I am so excited for this autosave feature that's coming soon. I can already imagine starting something on Monday, saving it, and then coming back to it later in the week. And that is going to be a game changer for me and my classroom. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Google Forms is already great for engaging and collaborating with the students, and the improvements are going to make it even better. I'm personally a big fan of the possibilities the smart Canvas features are bringing. I cannot wait to have it.
Me too. I agree with you. One thing I'm super excited about are the interactive checklists in Docs. So I don't know about you, but my students are middle schoolers and they can get pretty disorganized. And so I like making checklists for them to help them keep on track of their due dates and their assignments. The bad part is that as soon as I make the checklist, they lose it. So I love the idea of having it in a digital space that they can come back to later and they don't have to fish it out of their backpacks. You know, it's just right there for them.
Awesome. And speaking of Google Docs, this assistive writing feature is really exciting for when we're working on digital citizenship. Then we can improve our communication skills in the virtual world. There's a lot to learn. As a technology teacher, I see students often have fear of using formulas in spreadsheets.
It's not just the students, Peter. I'm afraid of it too. So this is really exciting.
So imagine I have no words to describe how happy they will be, and even we will be, when they finally overcome their fear with the new assisted analysis feature. Lucy, I think we've got plenty of homework to make for them. Let's do it.
No, I think we've got plenty of homework to do. We've got to check out all these cool features. Let's do it.
Thanks, Lucy and Peter. Now I'm going to pass it off to Helen to talk about updates coming to Google Chrome.
Hi, I'm Helen Zoe, Product Manager on the Education and Family teams on Chrome OS. Over the past year, we've seen Chromebooks being used in so many ways. For virtual classrooms, as millions of Chromebooks were sent home for distance learning. For creative projects, as people found new hobbies and passions. And for entertainment, as parents and guardians leaned on Family Link to help balance school time and playtime. Chromebooks have become the #1 device in K-12 education globally because they're powerfully simple, opening a world of possibilities for every student and teacher, whether they're at school, at home, or anywhere in between. We've seen a huge transition to one-to-one device deployment as students are bringing home school devices and moving from a shared cart model to having assigned devices, giving them a real sense of ownership. As a result, we're making changes to support schools as they send Chromebooks home and to help students connect and participate in hybrid classrooms while creating and sharing their ideas with a wide range of learning tools from podcasting to screencasting. First, let's talk about how Chromebooks are easy to use, start and stay fast, and get better over time. With a wide variety of helpful tools like Canva, Read and Write, and Adobe Spark, all found on the Chromebook App Hub, Chromebooks can boost both teacher productivity and student engagement. With Chromebooks, it's easy to set up the right environment for your school from wherever you are because you can manage and scale with ease using Chrome Education Upgrade and over 500 policies in Google Admin Console. With policies like zero-touch enrollment, IT admins can drop ship devices to any location and have the device be ready to go without ever having to touch the device. Automatic updates for up to 8 years on devices keep them safe and secure, and with all of the latest and greatest security updates and new features. But it can be challenging to know when devices are reaching their automatic update expiration date. Last year, we updated the devices policy of Google Admin Console to show when devices reached their AUE. And now we're adding a new page in Admin Console that enables admins to view Chrome Insights reports. The first report will be a view of AUE dates of the device fleet, which helps you understand when and how many devices have reached or are going to reach their AUE dates. These reports will help you prepare for when you should be thinking about purchasing new devices and how often. With over 40 plus new devices for education in 2021 alone, it's easy to give teachers and students devices that meet their needs and customize each device to suit individual learning styles. With devices for learning anywhere, students can easily video conference and multitask. And with devices for advanced use, students can code and run large programs. Teachers and staff can also find a powerful device that they can rely on. There's a device for every user and use case, and you can find yours at the URL on the screen. With the transition to one-to-one device deployments, where students can now have their own Chromebook and make it their own, we're adding even more features to make it easy for you to pick up your device and start using it quickly. This August, we're rolling out PIN logins for education users. This means that instead of having to remember so many long passwords and spend time typing them in, students, educators, and admins will be able to type in a simple 6-digit PIN to log in. When students are logging into a device with the appropriate security hardware, meaning an H1 security chip, they will be prompted to set up a PIN and will be able to log in or unlock their Chromebook using that PIN going forward. We hope that this will help students, especially younger ones, and teachers spend more time using technology to learn instead of having to spend lots of extra time logging in or setting up. Next, we'll talk about how Chromebooks come with built-in accessibility and productivity features right out of the box. Powered by Chrome OS, they are regularly updated in the background while your educators and students work. And when you customize your accessibility settings once, they follow you wherever you log in next. For students who may need an alternate input into their Chromebook, we have Switch Access, which is the ability to use the built-in keyboard or an external device via USB or Bluetooth to control their cursor. Coming in August, we're introducing point scanning, which is a new navigation mode for Switch Access. It allows users to select any point on the screen by first having a user choose the horizontal location they want to select and then having them choose the vertical. Chromebooks also come with 2 magnifiers built in, a full screen magnifier and a docked magnifier. We've just added a new panning method to our full screen magnifier. In addition to the current ability to pan the screen when your mouse hits the edge of the magnified viewport, you can now keep the mouse centered on the screen and have the viewport pan as you move the mouse. And speaking of built-in, Chromebooks also have 2 different forms of spoken feedback, which are great for students or educators who are blind or low vision or just learning how to read. For those who have significant vision loss or are blind, Chromebox is a full system spoken feedback. And for those with low vision or specific learning or print disabilities, Select to Speak is an on-demand screen reader for certain text or certain parts of the screen. And we recently released screen shading and new controls that let you speed up, slow down, or pause the reading voice in real time and easily jump to different sections of text. To help users better understand how to use Chromebox, we just released new tutorials, including a quick orientation for new users, which automatically launches when Chromebox is activated, along with interactive lessons, which ask users to execute commands or press designated keys to continue, and a practice area for small set of lessons, which allows users to practice what they've learned in a sandbox environment. Best of all, the tutorial is also available for touch devices. Finally, to ensure that your school and students stay safe, every Chromebook comes with advanced security at the core. Built-in security features include automatic updates, sandboxing, verified boot, data encryption, and more. We'll talk more about Google for Education's commitment to security and privacy in the next session. We're excited to see how you'll be using Chromebooks in your classrooms and at home this year. Now I'll hand it over to 2 educators from the US to talk about how they'll be using these features.
Thanks, Helen. Hi, everyone. I'm Tammy Lind. I'm an instructional coach in the South Milwaukee School District in Wisconsin, and I work with teachers and students using Chromebook accessibility features both in the classroom and during remote learning.
And hi there, I'm Susan Herder. I'm a technology coordinator for Mounds View Public Schools in Minnesota. We've been a Google district for over 10 years, and we have about 12,000 Chromebooks that we manage. So, Tammy, what did you think of those Chrome OS updates?
I know that they are really going to impact our kids, and I can't wait to get started using them with teachers.
Teachers are going to be so happy with the PIN login. I know that our teachers of our youngest students have spent so much time just teaching them to log into the Chromebooks that this is going to be a game changer for them. They're going to be able to focus more on the instruction rather than those tech issues.
Absolutely. We use our Chromebooks all the way down to 4-year-olds, and the PIN feature is going to come in really handy. When we closed in 2020 and went to remote learning, we had to really work with our youngers to make sure that they could log into their Chromebooks and get what they needed. With the new PIN login, that is going to make it so much nicer for teachers and for staff.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, for the accessibility features like the panning method to the full screen magnifier, those are tools that teachers can also use to help focus student instruction. So we can use them well beyond just the accessibility piece, but to really enhance teaching and learning.
That's a great idea. With these features, any student, teacher, or staff member who would benefit from assistive technology and accessibility just will have access. The tutorials are really going to come in handy for people that are just getting started in assistive technology.
Yeah, I can't wait to get the Chromebooks back into the hands of the 12,000 teachers and students this fall. We're having our 6th graders through 12th graders take the Chromebooks home so we can extend learning anytime, anywhere.
That's great. We're starting an elementary virtual academy for families that have chosen to stay virtual into next fall. And our kids are going to be using their Chromebooks all day, every day. The new features are going to come in really handy.
I can't wait to hear how that goes. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Helen.
Thanks, Tammy and Susan. Now we'll hear from Jen about our commitment to helping schools build safer digital learning environments.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Holland, Director of Program Management for Google for Education. You've just heard about all of the new product features and updates coming to Chrome OS, Google Workspace for Education, and Classroom. One of the best things is that you don't have to think twice about whether they're secure or whether they'll work with your other digital tools. When we design our products, we put the safety, security, and privacy needs of our users first. Because at the end of the day, what motivates our team is how we can best support the entire education community, and particularly teachers and students, so they can focus on what matters most, teaching and learning. As we build new products and features, we adhere to 3 principles: keeping your information secure by default, ensuring privacy by design, and giving you complete control over your school's digital environment. First, let's discuss what it means to be secure by default. You need to protect your school community from digital threats, but you want to make sure that it doesn't disrupt teaching and learning. And then there's the fact that threats are always evolving. How do you keep up? Google for Education offers the world's most advanced digital security. Even before you set up security controls for your school's digital environment specific to your needs, baseline security controls are on by default to help protect you from the start. And proactive protections are built in and continuously updated to stay ahead of threats. And this is done in the background, so your environment is always current without being constantly interrupted by upgrades and patches. By automatically protecting your environment 24/7, we prevent security issues from happening in the first place by proactively detecting, blocking, and mitigating threats. We also guarantee that our industry-leading global network is up 99.9% of the time. All data is encrypted at rest and in transit between our facilities using the most stringent encryption technologies. And you can rely upon our network to handle even your largest classes and heaviest workloads. And in our Security Center, you can get customized recommendations from Google on how to optimize your security to help prevent malware, ransomware, data leaks, and other security threats from harming your environment. Next, let's discuss how we strictly uphold responsible data practices designed to respect your privacy. With Google for Education, we're helping your institution meet rigorous data privacy standards, including FERPA, COPPA, and GDPR. We're also continuously making thoughtful decisions about when, how, and why data is used in our products, including data that's used for ads. No advertising ever appears in Google Workspace for Education core services, and students' personal information is never sold or used for personalized advertising. It's simply off limits. To help you make informed decisions about our products, we are clear about our data practices, and we promise full transparency into our privacy policies. We have updated our privacy notice to improve the way we describe our practices and privacy controls. While nothing is changing about how your information is processed, we improved our notice to have clearer language to make it easier for admins, teachers, parents, and students to understand. Finally, we design our products to give you complete visibility and control. You can stay on top of your school's security with tools that put more power and choice into your hands. For starters, you own your own data in core Google Workspace services, period. That means you retain full intellectual property rights over your customer data and control who can download it and when. You can get real-time alerts so you can act immediately if an incident occurs and customize the security dashboard to get reports on your security status at any time. If you want even more advanced security capabilities, you can layer on additional features by choosing premium options with the different versions of Google Workspace for Education, including a centralized security center that gives you full visibility into your environment. Now that we've shared a little bit about our security and privacy principles, let's talk about what's launching next school year to help provide more visibility and control for admins and teachers as they build safe digital learning environments. For starters, we're introducing a new age-based access setting to provide a safer experience for students under the age of 18 when using additional services, which are Google products that can be accessed outside of the core Google Workspace for Education suite. These products include YouTube, photos, and maps, among others. In the coming weeks, we'll ask all admins from primary and secondary institutions to indicate in the admin console which of their users, such as their teachers and staff, are over the age of 18, using organizational units or groups. Then, in early September, students who are under 18 will see a series of changes across Google that provide them a safer experience. If admins don't make a selection by then, primary or secondary institution users will default to the safer, under 18 experience, while higher education institution users will default to the over 18 experience. These default settings are not locked, and admins can always adjust them. For example, here's how the YouTube experience will change for students under the age of 18. Students under 18 will only be allowed to consume YouTube content, but not create. This means features like posting videos, commenting, and live streaming will be disabled. If any of these users had previously uploaded videos using their school Google account, they'll be able to use Google Takeout to download their content if enabled by the administrator. We're also making changes if an admin has chosen to disable YouTube. Users will not be able to view YouTube videos on youtube.com. Many teachers and schools love YouTube because it has such a rich library of compelling instructional content, and we hope these changes give educators even more opportunities to use it as a tool for learning. We're also changing the default experience for Google Search for users under 18. Previously, many schools used our network filtering capabilities or those from third-party filtering providers to protect K-12 students from visiting websites that contained age-inappropriate content. But those only worked on schools' physical campuses. So, moving forward, any students under 18 signed into Google Search with their school Google account get the safe search experience, filtering explicit content from their search results. Additionally, all K-12 EDU users signed into a Chrome browser or Chrome OS device will be defaulted to Safe Search On. These Chrome users will also be defaulted to Safe Sites On, which blocks going directly to identified age-inappropriate URLs, and guest mode and incognito mode turned off so that students can't get around those policies. These policies will be changing for both new and existing K-12 EDU users, and those who have not overridden these policy defaults will see the new ones later this year. For all these policies on Chrome OS, admins can still change these policies for individual organizational units, like for educators who need access for lesson planning purposes. This way, we provide a safer learning environment for students while giving admins more choice and control and more visibility into what students are doing online. We're also prioritizing helping students be safer online and good digital citizens. Just last week, we launched a refreshed curriculum of our Be Internet Awesome program. Be Internet Awesome is a program used by millions of students and educators globally that teaches kids the fundamentals of digital citizenship and safety. We designed it to assist educators, parents, and guardians help younger students explore the online world safely and with confidence. It's also fun for the kids because of Interland, an interactive video game that reinforces what they learn. Thanks for spending time out of your day to learn more about our privacy and security updates. As I mentioned at the start, what motivates our team is how we can best support the entire education community, and particularly teachers and students, so they can focus on what matters most, teaching and learning. Our commitment to you is that we will continue to create tools and services that are secure by default and private by design, all the while giving you complete control over your environment. Thanks for listening. Now I'll pass it to Dean Stokes for our global customer panel.
Welcome to the Anywhere Schools Global Customer Panel. I'm Dean, the Education Product Adoption Manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa here at Google. It's no secret that COVID-19 has disrupted the way that we teach and learn. Practically overnight, technology became embedded in everything that we do, which has its benefits and challenges. Across the globe, we've seen you, educators and school leaders, respond in extraordinary ways. And we have 4 people with us today to talk to us about their journeys. So before we get started, let's find out who we're speaking to. So Philomena, over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dean. Hello, everyone. I am so honored to be here. My name is Filomena Pizzulli. I am a math and science teacher in middle school, and currently I work at Leonardo Sciascia School in Taranto. I am so happy to be here, and I would like to share with you my love for IT and digital learning, especially, obviously, Google World. And for that reason, I started my journey in Google, first of all, with Google Educator Level 1, until the last one, Google Innovator. And I am also leader of GG Italia and the newest GG mentor. In that way, you can see me, the person that always shared her love with Google, for Google, with other teachers in my school and all around the world. My aim is to combine and integrate the math love and the Google love in one only space, and transforming the learning path into an engaging journey. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Juan Carlos Flores. I'm a Secretary of Education here in Jalisco, Mexico. I have a bachelor's degree in physics, over 20 years of experience as a teacher, and I'm very glad to be with you. We would love to share our experience here in Jalisco with a system with 2 million students, and we have a lot of things to tell you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maria Etheridge. I'm from Lakes Entrance Primary. I'm the STEM specialist teacher. I'm only 5 years in, so I'm a mature age grad. My area is a low socioeconomic area. We're regional. We have also a high Indigenous Australian population. And we're back to face-to-face in our area, but we had a steep learning curve and accelerated technology adoption.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Shirley Chavarria. I am the Chief Officer of Teaching and Learning for Chicago Public Schools in Chicago, Illinois. We serve close to 340,000 students, and we've been on quite a journey this year. We started fully remote. I'm proud to say that we now have opened all of our buildings for in-person instruction in a hybrid model. And this fall, we're really excited to return to 5 days of in-person instruction while providing students with medical fragile needs with continued remote options.
Great to meet you, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to learning from you today. It's been said that crisis breeds innovation, and I think it was clear as the world started to shut down early on in the pandemic last year that incremental change wasn't going to cut it. And for you and everyone watching at home as well, your work was crucial in making sure that we could continue teaching and learning in an uninterrupted way.
So I'd love to hear what innovation you witnessed or were a part of, and what parts of that you're planning to keep as we start getting back to normal. And perhaps, Shirley, you can start us off.
Sure, certainly. Most definitely, the crisis accelerated our ability to support teacher development of competence with digital resources and tools. This fall, we made the decision to move the district to solely using Google Suite tools for remote learning. That means that we led 500 schools, over 1,000 school leaders, and over 24,000 teachers to really understand how to leverage Google Suite tools to continue to provide the kinds of instructional experiences that we know matter for students, engaging in meaningful tasks, opportunities to collaborate, opportunities to engage with each other and receive feedback. And our teachers rose to the challenge. The creativity of teachers has been evident in so many ways. They adopted new tools and implemented them in ways that really maximized student engagement, which was a priority for us. We saw Google Jamboards that provided the opportunity for student voice and choice, Google Forms that captured quick formative feedback, breakout rooms, and Google Docs that were designed to engage students in discussion and creation that really, I think, felt impossible before all of all this happened. And these examples really only begin to scratch the surface of what we accomplished this year. And I do hope that our teachers feel proud of what they were able to adapt and do, and the skills that they were able to build. And I'm really proud to say that we're certainly going to move these skills into the future, because Chicago Public Schools is releasing its first ever digital pre-K through 12 standards aligned, culturally responsive curriculum this summer. What that means is that we've prepared a fully articulated curriculum that will be housed in a digital learning object repository and will connect in a digital ecosystem that utilizes Google Suite tools so that teachers will have access to high quality materials, but will be able to continue to innovate, continue to engage students, and really continue to build on the skills that they've built this year. And so we're excited to see what our teachers will continue to do in the years ahead.
Thanks, Shirley. And Juan Carlos, for you thinking about your whole region, how was this for you? What innovations did you really see from your teachers?
Well, we feel very proud of our teachers because they were able to have a digital culture transformation. It was amazing. For us, it represents going from 0 accounts to more than 800,000 institutional accounts with Google Education that allowed us to start a very aggressive digital training. We have almost 71 courses available. We enrolled in the first weeks more than 4,000 teachers. And from then, we have been seeing a very broad applications of the platform. It was very interesting that we had made the decision that every one of our 13,000 schools have like a free choice for using certain tools. And it was amazing because when you don't take decisions in one desk, in one office, and trust every one of your schools, you get excellent results. So what we're seeing is that hybrid education is going to be for us now on, because we already noticed that even small children are very interested in technology. Their parents, families here in Jalisco are making very big efforts to have the technology they need in their houses. And we did it in the first days of the pandemic, only with 20% of our students. Now, for more than a year, we have been studying in-house. We have opened our schools since 2 months ago. And we right now have all the schools open for supporting students. That 20% that has a very difficult time to reach technology. But we are sure in the near future all the students will have this technology because we are making a very big network with the internet to our schools. So we're very excited to see how all our faculty is evolving and getting very interested in technology.
Thanks, Juan Carlos. Filomena and Maria, I think training was just mentioned in there. And I wonder how it was for you in your kind of virtual classrooms. Did you feel like you were ready for this innovation? And what kind of things were you doing with your students? Perhaps you can share, maybe Maria.
Okay. Luckily for me, I have a global PLN, and so I was watching what was unfolding through Asia and Europe, and so I learnt from their challenges, and I was able to hit the ground running. So I had 4 days to train all our staff and 2 days to get the students familiar with what it was going to look like for them. Prior to this, we had also come out of the bushfires, and because we're regional, so that sense of community was even more important. So initially, our focus was even on the social emotional side of things and making sure that we kept that connection going and that communication. And then, as we were comfortable with that, we evolved in the concentration of the academic side. But we were only a 20 lab computer, and we had about they were desktops and 4 desktops in each classroom. And then with the Department of Education and Training in Victoria, we were able to get devices one-to-one for 3 to 6s, and huge changes from that. It was really, really good.
We heard from Shirley some of the uses of the tools among the teachers in Chicago public schools. Filomena, Maria mentioned they're getting a device to everybody. How was the access for you and your students, and how were you reaching them through virtual teaching?
Oh, great question, Dan, because when we went into lockdown, as you mentioned before, almost overnight, everything seemed new and we were absolutely not ready. One of the most difficult things was the digital divide. Not all the student had a mobile phone or a laptop to join virtual classroom. So with my principal and my other colleagues, we decided to open up our IT rooms and gave all our laptop or mobile devices to our students that they have not. In that way, we could reach out. I think the main part of our student, maybe the whole organization, and so we were so happy. But at the same time, we had so much difficulties because not all the student or the family were ready to join the virtual classroom, to use Google Workspace username, password, and we spent so much time on the phone. For example, I answered so many calls from grandparents to them, also grandparents, because they are the people that take care of children, and maybe sometimes they help the grandchildren to join virtual classroom. And then when we come back this year on September, we went in person, totally in person at the beginning. Then we we had hard times in Italy, and students say talk to teacher and say, teacher, why we don't keep Google Classroom? Why we don't use Jamboard? However, if we are in person, and that was the moment that I realized that the innovation, the transformation was done. For me, this is the most remarkable and memorable moment in my teacher life. Really,
I bet it's been a phenomenal 18 months. Really, really challenging and difficult, and it continues to be in many parts of the world as well. You mentioned there that kind of an unintended consequence, if you like, was that you had to get devices out of your school to give them to students. And whilst crisis might breed innovation, it's definitely not without its challenges. And so I'm wondering from the others, were there any other unintended consequences that you faced, that you're dealing with, and how are you thinking about maybe solving for those moving forward?
I'll offer a small one, but I think an important one. So when we moved to remote instruction, we took care to really articulate and craft the expectations for what we felt was everything. So, who could be in a Google room and when adults would be there and what the expectations would be, how much time should be spent in literacy versus math, and within that time for literacy and math, how much of it should be synchronous and asynchronous, and what qualifies as synchronous and what qualifies as asynchronous, and all of this kind of very much kind of detail and agony about how to reconstruct our world for instruction. But one thing we didn't include was ideas or suggestions for how to support less structured student social time, or in other words, recess. So we got remote learning off the ground, and we heard loud and clear from our students and our families that they missed recess. They missed having the time to connect with friends outside of academics and interact and play and talk to each other. And we just simply didn't account for that. And so certainly many school leaders and teachers did account for that, even though we didn't. And they independently came up for ways to make sure that they continued to provide that for students. But when we moved into a hybrid instruction, we were very intentional about making sure that we supported our schools with ideas for how to make sure that that student who is still at home and the student who is now in person had those opportunities for social interaction through things like maybe small lunch groups or structured playtime during recess through a meets. And while not huge, I do think it reminds us of this important thing, which is that we all desire the opportunity to connect, play, and experience joy together. And that as educators and as leaders, we have to also dedicate time and energy to ensuring that we make that possible for our students on a daily basis. So definitely something that I'll think about and continue to think about how we use technology and just value time in our school buildings.
Definitely. I mean, I've been working from home since March last year, and I felt exactly the same, actually. One of the challenges at the beginning was I'm only really talking to my colleagues in meetings. And even for adults, for us, that social time is really important. And there can be an element of guilt that comes with that, I think, sometimes, that, I'm in class, so I should be working, or I'm speaking to my classmates, and we should be doing work. But that time is really important. The rest of you, have you also faced kind of similar questions or anything related or different that's come up?
We had a scenario. It was towards the end of remote learning for us. So the kids were allowed to return back, but we weren't allowed to have any parents on site. And being a regional area and community, as I've mentioned, and sport, being Australian, we had our cross-country, in-house cross-country event. And so because the parents couldn't be there on site, and we weren't even encouraging them to be outside the school around the fence area, we use Google Meet to stream it. We did live streaming, and we were one of the first uptakers of using live streaming. So that was exciting. And we had students commentate the race as well as having the live camera going. It was awesome. We got a write-up in the paper, and it was really, really good.
I love that. Unintended consequences can maybe have kind of negative connotations, right? But that sounds like something that was super fun for the students as well. Do you think it's something that you'll carry on and you'll do again in future?
I hope so, because there was a level of involvement that was different. And so the kids that couldn't participate or didn't enjoy participating in the running could be commentators. So there was still a whole community involvement, a whole school community. So it was good.
I guess related to that point, I think it's fair to say that some students have probably thrived in this situation. They've maybe been able to connect differently, and this has worked really well for them. And on the flip side, there are students that will have really struggled with just looking at a screen and interacting with teachers and their classmates through a screen. How has that come up for you? Are there any examples that you can think of where teachers have faced this and come up with really interesting solutions?
Well, in our case in Jalisco, we have a very big problem with the communication with parents. So we thought it was very interesting for us to support families to have at least a minimum condition for students to have access to education during the pandemic. So what we are starting to do is have webinars for families. We create Recrea Familia, which is like a conference to support the parents to show them the briefs of the technology, the ABC of technology, and it worked very well. We have a Congress. We were expecting just a few parents. Right now, the video of the entire Congress that it's about 10 hours long. It has more than 200,000 views. So I think parents are going to be very important. They are very important in education, obviously. But now with technology, they are starting to feel confident and supporting their kids. And for us, is very interesting.
And thanks, Juan Carlos. Filomena, you mentioned that you were speaking with grandparents, parents on the phone as well. Did you do any kind of further scaled activities similar to the webinar that Juan Carlos mentioned? Were there things like that happening either at your school or in Italy more generally as well?
Yes, of course. I started to do a tutorial on YouTube for that reason, because sometimes I receive a lot of requests for the same thing. So I decide, okay, let's do one tutorial and share with everyone. And for that reason, I started my YouTube channel. And when someone asks, oh, I need to know how I can join Google Classroom. Wait, I have a link for you. And so I keep doing.
And I'm really keen, before we move on to the last question, I know that we're running out of time. Are there any other things? I think the sports day was a really good example, but any other examples that you have where you've done something this way that has been forced to be through technology or virtually or online that you're thinking you will keep into the future? I think parent-teacher evenings is one I hear a lot about, but I wonder if there are other examples.
Yes, I go first because I really enjoy the engaging activity that you could do with the students. My Google Innovator project is about social emotional learning, like Shirley said before. Because sometimes when we were on distance learning, students had the power to switch off camera, switch off microphone, and get away from the lesson. So, as a teacher, your role, your aim is to engage students so they could decide to not switch the camera and be with you. For that reason, I organize with other colleagues a lot of activity, a newspaper for school, a podcast about social emotional learning, a lot of Google site about all the activity and the project in the school, even if we were in distance learning. And a unique place to share the emotion, the pictures, the video, so we can feel close, even if we are distant in reality.
One other innovation I'd share is that during this moment, we were excited to really expand student access to courses. So in Chicago Public Schools, typically in 8th grade, some students have access to an advanced course such as algebra, and others don't, because it really depends on whether or not a teacher at that school is certified to teach that course. So this year, we offered what we called algebra hubs. So it didn't matter whether or not the student had an endorsed teacher at the school. We offered after-school algebra courses through a virtual hub certified teacher who would then teach that student. So we were able to significantly expand student access to algebra courses by using remote learning. And so as we move into the year ahead, we'll continue to really explore a way where we can expand the way students access both rigorous coursework, more advanced coursework, but also just interesting coursework, and really think about how we go beyond the limits of the school building, while of course we're very excited to get our students back in 5 days a week.
I really love that example. I think access to subjects that students wouldn't be able to learn normally in their school suddenly are open to them when you can do things online. And it's funny because I don't feel like that's a new idea, but it does feel like people are much more open to doing it now, having been through the experience of the last 18 months. We're nearly at time. We've learned so many great examples and things that you've been working through in all of your different contexts. So I'd love to hear whether you have a kind of single piece of advice or one particular thing on your mind that you've learned that you would like to share with everybody watching today? Perhaps we'll go to Maria first.
I think that this is exciting times. I think we're going to see a lot of change, in the future of education. If you think about Sir Ken Robinson and his talk about changing education paradigms, I think that this is starting to happen, particularly for us regionally. It's a big change. So I just encourage educators really to have a go and not be afraid, and that we're all lifelong learners, so we need to set the example for our students.
Really love that. I always used to say to people when I was training, don't worry, you can't break it.
I was just thinking that the pandemic made us clear that technology will replace teachers, that we might have the best technology in classroom, but the important things are the relation between the teacher with their students, the pedagogical intervention, the social interaction. And therefore, I consider that our greatest learning during the pandemic has to be we have to emphasize the human aspect of education, prioritizing two fundamental components to achieve education development. That's responsible autonomy for each school using technology, obviously, and a sense of community. Collaboration was very interesting with technology, because what we found is that now teachers are getting together not only with the faculty of each school, they are working with math teachers with math teachers, and they're sharing a lot of materials, a lot of experience, a lot of fails, and also successes. So it's very interesting for us now that we're face-to-face education to keep promoting technology as a way to have a better collaboration.
Juan Carlos, I really love what you said, because it's exactly what has come to mind for me. I think that in this moment, what's come through is that we can innovate and we can persevere through any challenge through the power of human connection. And so as we move forward, I really wonder, how do we create space with each other in the classroom, in our schools, and in our daily interactions to value each other's identities and lived experiences, our relationship with each other and the community we create? I think that if we really center ourselves on those ideas of identity and relationship and community, we'll continue to create the conditions needed to really learn, grow, and innovate.
Can I answer with a metaphor, Dean? Because listening to my colleague, all the speeches remind me about an image. Because sometimes I think about teacher and I compare them with Olympic athletes with the high jump, with the pole. Because this year we went to a profound teaching transformation, and that instead of years took few months. And in my mind, I see the pole, the bar, that every time we were to dive in, always rise up. And then with tenacity and strength, our teacher keep learn and practice and teach the students, also teach other teachers to raise the bar and reach the bar. And if we think about 1 year ago, we feel incredibly proud of our teaching path. And so if we imagine 1 year from now, we have to practice and still learning and keep learning, because I think that teachers are the real superhero.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I'm in awe of everything that you've all achieved. Those points about human connection, I think, are really important. And I don't think technology will ever be able to replace a teacher because of that. Technology will never be human. And I think, if anything, it's just going to signify the importance of the human connection when we are together in person, no matter what happens moving forward with hybrid learning or being on video more often, perhaps. And it has been a really challenging 18 months. But listening to you all and just hearing stories from educators that have been using our tools around the world for the past 18 months has made me really optimistic. So a huge thank you to all four of you for joining us for this panel again. And thank you to everybody at home watching along. This wraps up the Anywhere School event 2021, but please do continue the conversation online using hashtag the Anywhere School, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.